Welcome back to CARAHCAST, the podcast from CareSoft Technology, the trusted government IT solutions provider. Subscribe to get the latest technology updates in public sector. My name is Will Rose, a sales director with CareSoft. Joining me today is Sujit Mohanty, the general manager for public sector field engineering at Databricks. And we're going to be talking about the importance of FedRAMP within the government market, and also through the lens of Databricks' recent FedRAMP high authorization on AWS. Suj, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely, appreciate the time, Will. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So for our listeners, could you please start by telling us a little bit about Databricks and then a little bit about your role as the general manager for public sector field engineering?
Yeah, so Databricks is the data intelligence platform company, started roughly 2013, 2014. Been focused on public sector since 2017, so over 8 years, focused on delivering an analytics platform for the federal government, state and local education, as well as a lot of healthcare agencies as well too. So really we're kind of a leader on large scale workloads for analytics, open source, open standards, and kind of my background was 20 plus years in public sector, currently running our pre-sale solutions architecture team. The entire federal organization, public sector, is about 150 folks really dedicated to enabling key outcomes for our organization. But also focused on a number of other companies as well across the space, prior Microsoft, Pivotal, that were really key, shaping software, data analytics, and other capabilities for the federal government.
Yeah, awesome. Now, we're here today to talk about Databricks' recent announcements that you've received FedRAMP high authorization on AWS GovCloud, and also DoD IL level 5 on GovCloud as well. So maybe start by getting your quick thoughts on how Databricks is prioritizing security for our government customers.
Yeah, so security is probably one of the most important things, as we know, especially for our agencies in today's world, especially from an analytics standpoint. The idea of being able to share information, being able to have governance, while still maintaining open standards, so you have a hardened core all the way to and through, is extremely critical. So achieving FedRAMP authorization at pretty much all levels as possible is really, really key for us. So recently we achieved our FedRAMP high at the early part of this year, and then also for the DoD Impact Level 5, we achieved that in November of 2024. So two key authorizations from a security standpoint for our end government customers. There's an aspect of being able to have US-based personnel that supports these environments, being able to have auditing capabilities, hardened core, so being able to have hardened enhanced security compliance features, hardened operating systems as required by the platforms. But this becomes really key for a handful and actually a number of big use cases for our customers, everything from national security use cases to data sharing, fraud, waste, and abuse, operational efficiency.
Yeah.
So we're pretty excited by the opportunity to bring this platform from a SaaS capability in higher classification capabilities.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on it. Within FedRAMP, there are different levels. You've got low for more publicly available information, moderate for something that may be more sensitive, but not always quite confidential. And then there's high, which is information related to critical operations, national security, emergency services. So Databricks achieved FedRAMP high on AWS GovCloud. Of course, that's no small feat. Could you talk about why getting that level of authorization is so significant, especially when it comes to supporting highly sensitive government workloads?
Yeah, so high really is extremely critical for those sensitive government workloads, but mainly around protecting unclassified information and really protecting things that are highly sensitive and also mission critical information as well too. So it's building upon everything that you have from a FedRAMP moderate perspective, which is pretty, I'll say relatively easy to get, but is achievable in commercial environments. You have to use things like GovCloud in order to have a jailed off environment in order to achieve something like FedRAMP high. So there's a lot of engineering that goes into that, but the level of information, the level of use cases that you could support becomes fully more expanded as you go forward.
Yeah.
So one of the key areas like things like public safety, national security use cases, as I talked about a little bit before too, being able to actually do information sharing amongst really sensitive data sets fully opens up, especially for things like law enforcement capabilities and public-private partnerships as you go forward as well too.